Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday at John's once again. Today we're doing all our routine nonsense. John's over here trying some laser jet printer decals. We're having a heck of a time with them.
This is supposed to be a no film decal.
He can't hear you.
Your mic will pick me up a little bit.
Let me get you this.
Supposed to be.
I always have a problem with these.
Yeah, I had the heat on that too high. Must be 100.
Okay. All right, can you guys hear us? I'm trying to get all the mics set up. Okay, we got RX and the transmitter should TX. Okay. Okay, here's your mic. Let me shut this door. Save a little battery, that helps a little bit. We got 4 watchers. Can you guys hear us okay? Oh, okay. Scott says it sounds good.
Let's see. Got that turned all the way off. Just says 100 degrees. I'm right on 100 right there. I have been on this one, and it didn't bubble like that last one did.
But I don't know if their 100 is going to be hot enough.
That's what it calls for. I had it at 200 degrees on that last one, and it bubbled it.
Nope. It ain't hot enough. Try 150. Did you get the glue all the way out to the edge there?
Yeah.
I need to make a hanger for this thing and this post. Because live streaming eats the battery up.
Trying to hit 125 here. To creep up on it, and I don't want to apply any more heat than absolutely necessary. You know, I don't want to affect the paint. I mean, this is just 3 coats of clear, but it's not like a finished painted surface, that's for sure.
What this is this is a new kind of decals that has no paper on it when it's done.
No film.
And no film decal. Film-free water slide decal paper.
For laser jet printers.
So we're giving it some different ways to go. The water's for that. Supposed to put your airplane in the microwave for 10 minutes.
Yeah, or the oven.
So we're trying some different stuff here to see if we can make it work.
If it's nice, it'll make a really nice decal because there is no paper, plastic or whatever underneath of it like on a regular decal. So all you're applying to your airplane is the pigment.
The ink.
Or toner or whatever's the active substance in a laser printer.
If this is a laser printer, I wonder if you could cut laser stencils.
Not on a laser printer.
Because, Hangersley, they were even smaller than this.
Well, it's just a printer.
I understand.
It's not a laser cutter. Tankersley is using a laser cutter. Big difference.
Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that'd be to pick all those little things out?
I wouldn't even want to try.
That's why each sheet was $150.
Yeah. Now look at this. Look how this is sticking to that.
That's all right.
Well, maybe not.
Nope. No, you got it in.
See, in some places it's working, and some places it isn't. Must be a tightrope act on just the right amount of heat.
150.
I'm up above 150 now, I think.
It'll be nice if we can get it to work.
Yeah, you can't even feel it on there. There's no build-up height at all, thickness. Yeah, that's 150 right there. This is a side that I tried that was at too hot a heat and it like bubbled, but it stuck down. This is one I tried like a regular decal. I just cut it out, slid it off, slid it onto here.
And it didn't stick.
And it's not sticking at all. It's just peeling right up. This little thin layer, clear Mylar, which is on that paper. And you print on that and you turn it upside down and put it on there. And you're supposed to put this glue on there.
Let's try this.
That's the one that's put on like a regular decal. Even if this stuff was to stay, it's really, really thin. Probably not as thin as a regular decal, but the whole point of this is to get away from inkjet printers that fade out in the sun. And that's why we're trying to, go with a laser printer.
This was
'Cause
already screwed up, but
Yeah, because the laser doesn't fade in the sun. So that's the whole point of trying this experiment, whatever it may be.
hold on to it to keep from rocking.
It said to heat it for
A week.
3 or 4 minutes, or 2 to 3 minutes with a hair dryer, 3 or 4 minutes in a microwave, 10 to 20 minutes in an oven.
Well, see, this is direct heat right on it. It's not a hair dryer, so I'm forcing a transfer.
Well, I think the pressing on it helps, but it takes the heat. The heat almost has to do it because a laser printer works with heat. It Nope. And we're already over the temperature. We wanted 100 degrees.
But it didn't say anything about ironing, so this is all an experiment.
We're at 150 degrees. I realize this stuff's made for putting images on coffee mugs and stuff like that, and you stick it on there and you stick it in the oven or whatever, and you bake it for a while and then let it cool and then peel it off.
No. No, didn't do it at all. Oh, is there any film on it? It's not.
Well,
big.
yeah, it was put on like a regular decal. It's got film on it. Did you put it down the right way?
Probably not.
You put it down the other way. You put it down with the print up, so it's sticking to the napkin big time.
And put it on backwards, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta let this release. Now this goes this side down.
You put it on there, I'll do the ironing.
Yeah.
Want to get plenty of this shit on here, though.
This solution is supposed to be a glue. It sort of smells like Windex in a way.
Windshield washer fluid.
Yeah. And see, he's got plenty of that down. This is the ink sides on the top side here. That's the side that was out on the paper and the laser printed on that side. So we're putting it down with the ink side down towards the surface. Rub this down just like a regular decal. It wants to stick to you big time.
That's good. Well, maybe not, because
I pretty much got all the air bubbles out of it.
right there's air bubble. And right over here.
I think that heat will take some of that out of there.
Yeah, I don't want a chance. Give me a clean paper towel. This has got glue on it.
Water.
Whatever. We want to chance for success. This don't
Let's
work.
check the temperature. I gotta get something to drink, man. My allergies been acting up big time. Why is it only reading 100 degrees? I thought I had that turned up.
That's good.
It's going to creep on up. I don't know where it's at now.
It's all right.
I super glued that thing together.
Did you?
Yeah.
Just one of the ones I got from.
No, that's my old one.
Yeah, we're at 200 here.
Well, I lost track. Need to turn it down to 2.5 or so on there. It takes forever to cool down. It doesn't matter because the heat will activate whenever, you know. So basically,
Okay. Hold it from rocking.
really, of course, what they're saying is you're only trying to dry it.
Yeah.
But then heat for 2 or 3 minutes with a hair dryer. Start at low heat, then switch to high heat. Yeah, right. Press to release if any air bubbles. Microwave high 3 to 4 minutes, one object at a time. Oven heat 10 to 20 minutes at 100 degrees. Now that's something where you go 10 minutes in the oven or 20 minutes in the oven at 100 degrees. You basically heated the whole object up that you're putting it to 100 degrees, you know.
Let it cool.
Is it warm?
Yeah, it's warm. Not hotter than hell. Check the temperature again. About 200.
About 200. See, that stuck to that damn plastic. It makes me feel like the dang glue is on the wrong side.
Well, how did I get it to do it the first time?
I had the very first time I had it up there about 250, 300 degrees,
Well, let's
but
turn it up some more.
it bubbled the decal.
Yeah, keep moving it.
I did. Okay. I think 250 or 300 degrees is too hot. I think that's why it bubbled, but I bubbled the plastic carrier. If this proves to be too big of a pain in the butt, we'll go back to inkjet and just live with it. You know, I've done inkjets on a bunch of different airplanes that really hasn't faded in the sun yet, so, but I don't leave them sit out there like in Texas or something in the heat.
Now will the film pull off?
There's no film there. It's only the ink or the toner or whatever's in there. That's
You
like
did-
that one. That's all that is toner.
So that one worked.
The film's here, isn't it? Or no, it is on here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, see, you're not going to know anything until you get that. Try to get that off.
You didn't leave enough.
Well, this one was already cut out.
Yeah. Got it
See
going. Here.
It's right there on
Yeah.
between those two lines, sort of. No, you better put that paper. Might have to put a little bit of that glue underneath there. So-called glue.
Nope.
Take that brush and see if we can't get that to stick down there.
Let me get some more on there. Stick her down. Where's it at? What a pain in the rear.
Well, listen, they say acetone takes this stuff off, so how'd you like to put that on your airplane and then have to try to remove it? And you got to use acetone. That wouldn't be a pretty picture. You're just over top of the clear plastic. It's still on there.
I understand that, but I don't want to peel it off.
It's not sticking there. I can already see that.
No.
Okay, right back off again. But the majority of it did.
It ain't perfect, but
You can't even feel that on there when it's done. If you could get this to do this just consistently and easily,
see what Steve Hines says, try a hair dryer. You already did.
and
didn't
tried a monocoat blowgun on it, and I stood here for 15 minutes with starting with medium heat or low heat and switching to high after about 3 or 4 minutes and keeping it on there on high for 3 or 4 minutes, and here's what was left after doing that. That's the test with the hot air gun, and most of it stuck to this clear, well, I want to call it carrier plastic, but why put a paper backing on this if you're taking this off too and have the paper backing? It acts like a regular decal when you do that, but I tried it over here, or on another spot over here, I guess it was, just like a regular decal. Cut this out.
That's it right there.
Well, it was the one, but you know, the ink side was up. I cut it out and I put it on there. There's the plastic, and I put the ink side up, just like a inkjet printer, ink side up, a regular decal, slide it off of there.
Looked good, but
It looked good, but it did not stick. This little Mylar plastic here, or whatever it is really slick shit. So, God, I'd hate to go and get that. If acetone's the only thing that takes this off of there,
here's
you ruin the paint job trying to get
wanna
that
see-
pigment off.
grab a roll of tape, roll the tape on there.
I bet you won't pull it off.
Try it.
I even use tenacious tape. This will pull the silk span up. And it tells you in there, remember the ink's still fragile.
It'll come right up.
So I wouldn't want to put that on my airplane and have one screw up and then
Then
have
you
to
better
try
use-
to
you
have
better
to
use
try
the,
to clean it off.
Inkjet or the laser inkjet printer ones I made you. So you waited 2 months for nothing.
You don't get anywhere without trying shit. This is 91% alcohol. We know 91% alcohol will take dope off.
Try some acetone.
But it isn't taking that off. I don't have any acetone down here.
Thought you did.
Oh, lacquer's in there. We know lacquer's in will strip it down to the bare wood.
Well, acetone's even hotter.
Denatured alcohol, denatured
No, that ain't gonna do shit.
won't do nothing. No more than regular alcohol would. And so, in fact, that didn't even come off on the tissue paper hardly. Just believe me, I'm rubbing pretty doggone hard here. I'm rubbing hard enough that if it was could break the wood.
Well, I'm glad you learned something off the Mustang inking tape, which I've showed inking in the past. Al has his own way of doing things, but I set that one to public, so maybe to entice some more people to join as members. I have some more videos, the shock landing gear, the Rabe detail, the Bearcat detail, finishing and construction. It's a real good video. I just been posting those raw. I haven't been editing them. Al Rabe is very much like Wendy. You have to be doing something else or sleeping.
You'll be sleeping. Sorry, Al. But
I can edit them up. That's entirely up to you guys. I mean, the editing takes a lot of time. I need to sand on these wingtips now. We know what the the outcome of that is. That's going to be use the inkjets or the whatever inkjet printer.
I'm gonna try another one. All I need to get is 2 of these to work.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're doing it on that, and are you going to be able to get it to work on your airplane?
Well, it's a dope finish, just like the airplane. The problem is with the heat. I don't like the heat and paint
Can I set this
combination.
airplane in the other room? Move this stick.
Yeah.
I think you might as well watch John do his thing one more time while I'm rearranging stuff here. Oh, they can't hear me. As I stated, you might as well watch John do his thing one more time while I'm rearranging things.
That's 1, that's 2, that's 3.
3 days. What are you doing tomorrow?
Am I doing tomorrow? I don't know. Like thinking about flying. It's beautiful out there today.
You got a social distance.
Yeah, we're social distancing here, I see real well.
Yeah.
This is really soaking wet already. I just put an extra on just to be putting extra on. This is sort of stupid because you got to peel this off this paper and you can't tell where it's registered at because you got a piece of paper you're trying to look through.
Yeah.
I'll try something. Try this.
What are you gonna do?
It said alcohol will clean that glue off. So I'm gonna go over this plastic, some alcohol.
Try to get it not to stick
Yeah.
to the towel.
Yep. Exactly.
Low bridge. Let's see. Right this way. Well, let's see. We got anybody say anything? I think the video was just fine the way it was. No fiberglass in the center. No, I'm going to be putting some carbon veil in the center of that. And then Japanese tissue over the top of that. We'll see how that works. Yeah, 80. I thought I had this done, but I wasn't ready to start doping yet. And once I get this done, I'm gonna have to go over the whole thing in detail, sand it. And then I can dope, maybe. I'm gonna get some dope on it today, one way or the other. Hey, John, did you ever hear about Jerry having a landing gear problem with Bob Hunt's airplane?
The twin?
Yeah.
Mm,
Huh?
no.
I never heard about it either. I would have known because I'd have been the one fixing it.
Yeah, see, that just bubbled up and it pulled up more of it. I'm not happy with those results at all.
So, the best thing to do is go with what you know.
Yeah, this is better left for another time.
I need a small stick of wood.
I mean, I put word out. I asked a lot of people out there if they'd the whole box of sticks of wood. There's little sticks over here with paper,
Yeah,
sandpaper on them.
No, this sandpaper? No, this is a stick of wood. Good. Perfect.
Boy, if we could get this to work, this would be the hot ticket now. It'd be almost like the old letter sets. Electra sets or whatever they call them. Electra.
Yeah, but the thing with those is you dent the crap out of your airplane.
Yeah, well, this would do the same thing without the denting problem, which would be ideal. The problem with this stuff, if you put it down
I guess I can see it.
on, like we're trying to do, without no film left, you have to print all your lettering in reverse because you see it from the other direction. So you got to be able to do that also. Now this decal right here, you can put it on either direction. It's not direction oriented. But that was about a $30 experiment.
You made the pay for them?
I bought the stuff. I was the one that wanted to try. He just had the laser printer. My idea.
Well, as you stated, if you don't experiment, how are you going to figure it out?
We were just talking one day, and I don't know, we're talking about, I think, John Sunderland. And we both knew John really well. In fact, Rob's got a lot of his stuff after he passed away. And we were talking about him. And something came up, and he said something about making some emblems for his business, some cards and whatnot, graphics, and that he used a laser printer. I said, wow, laser printer. Cool. Wonder if we can make some decals.
Let's see here. We've been on 40 minutes. 40 minutes, 13 watchers. That's good. This series gets a lot of play. The guys like it.
So, to make a long story short, it started the venue of tracking down paper, because I'd seen laser decal paper, but I'd never seen any. They make another kind, and I think it's just like a regular decal, the other kind. So maybe that's the way we got to go. Use a laser printer on it and get the non. So we're trying to get rid of the film, all the film and everything, and just leave the ink on the surface is what we were trying to do. But we may have to just leave the film like a regular decal does, but use the laser printer type, I don't know, whatever that matrix is that they use in those things. It's a powder of some type that it prints out on the surface and then bakes it on there like, for the ink. And supposedly that stuff doesn't fade in the sunlight, and then just apply it like a regular old decal and clear over top of it and all that. So we'll just have to play around with it. That'd be another $30 experiment probably. We'll give it a whirl. Plastic cement. I need to make a stand for my bandsaw, for my other bandsaw, my metal cutting bandsaw.
Your handheld cutting?
For this one. I got one of these Bauer Harbor Freight metal cutting bandsaws.
I guess it worked good. You got that aluminum cut.
And yeah, and I did that. I did that by hand, you know. But there's a lot of stuff on the internet, on YouTube, about making these stands that hold that, so you can make a vertical or a horizontal metal cutting bandsaw, you know, and still retain your portability. Which is nice. You can just pop it off, pop it on. You can do it either way. They got that.
Are you following that kid from Macro Machines at all?
Macro Machine?
The guy who's building the aluminum Indy car?
No, I haven't watched him.
The kid?
The only time I seen that was when you showed me that video. I haven't had time to.
He's doing hydroforming. We could do some of that.
Isn't that what's his name does his mufflers? How he does his mufflers?
I don't know. Not very hard. They're using grease to bend metal with.
I seen a video the other day about taking pipes out of dirt pipe expansion chambers.
Yeah.
And they just use air. They plug up one end of it real tight with some kind of expandable bung, and then plug the other in and put air pressure to it.
Yeah, but
blows the dings out of them.
Oh, the dings. Yeah. Rolled cones. There's a real strict formula to the length and diameter of each cone, and how how long the stinger is, and how long the head pipe is.
Oh yeah. How many facets are in it?
Yeah. I mean, you can just make a chamber, but will it work?
Right. Well, all the experiments already been done by somebody else, which is a good thing.
And what people don't understand about his expansion chambers is they only work at 1 RPM.
Yeah, pretty much. They call them tuned pipe for a reason. They're tuned to one thing. Well, the pipes that we're using in Stunt aren't tuned pipes. They may look like a tuned pipe, but they're just a glorified muffler that is really working the opposite of a tuned pipe. It's stopping power, not making power. Yeah. It's controlling it. There's a whole science about that, you know. It's almost like you use a pipe that's too big for a given displacement of motor, and then it just sort of robs power, or it limits it. Doesn't allow it to go over the top. Here we are, another day watching Sparky Sand.
That's it. But this will be quick, maybe. That's it. Sanding. You're going to be a model airplane builder. You're going to be a sander. We got 3 thumbs up. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe. Become a member. See some of the member-only videos I'm going to be posting. That owl rape video that I set to public is just a taste of what's to come, because I have a whole bunch more of those, one of many. And I'll work on that tonight. We might get another one loaded up for tomorrow. We could do a members only chat this week. I mean, Memorial Day, and happy Memorial Day to everybody. I don't know how happy it is, us all locked up, but starting to move. I wish I could teach sanding on the internet, but there's just no way. You kind of got to be here to look at it in person to see what I'm doing. Right now I'm looking at the flats, and we're trying to get all the flats out, one flat at a time.
Practice.
Yep. Takes practice. You can make it go rather quick if you follow the Sparky simple steps of 36 grit sandpaper, 80 grit sand, the step down method. Because if you think you're gonna sand something like that with 320, you'll be on there for a month.
Yeah, you go a lot coarser than I go. I really don't hardly go below 100. But I think you got to be careful. If you know what you're doing, and use that 50 grit stuff.
I use 36.
Well, even 30, even worse yet.
That's 3 rocks per inch.
It leaves big grooves and stuff, and you got to know when to stop, so you still got enough sanding room to sand those grooves out of it and still retain the size that you wanted. That's part of the art, learning how to sand and get it knocked off fast. With the coarse grit paper, and then start smoothing it out as you go. It doesn't take long with that real coarse stuff. Get knocked down. Of course, you could plane it down. You could grind it off and do a lot of that stuff. But sometimes just sandpaper just works better than anything.
You have more control on sandpaper than... I can plane pretty fast. But you got to be real careful. It can get away from you real quick.
Yeah, planing's the same thing as using that 36 grit paper. You can grind it right on down past where you want to go.
The lead out area is always a issue. I did the slider this time instead of the brads, because this came out of the airplane I crashed in Huntersville, and the weight box came out of the airplane I crashed in Huntersville. The bell crank came out of the airplane I crashed in Huntersville. Got to reuse parts.
I do that. If I crash one, I take out all the good stuff and throw the rest away. Take out the...
I'm at work one day, and Kevin comes walking up to me. He goes, "I'm supposed to give this to you. It's a flap." From the airplane I crashed in Huntersville. I said, "What do I want that for? Throw it out."
Yeah, well, I've used old flaps off other airplanes that
This is destroyed.
Sanded them all down because I knew they were good wood underneath everything. That's sort of a not very often type of thing.
I'm going to superfill on top of the covering on this side. On the other side, I superfilled first, but
I always do as much superfilling first as I can. That way I figure I bury it in there and then all I got is little spots. Normally those things take a 2 or 3 coats to get them right.
yeah.
Getting them flared in there good.
I explained several times on the video, this is the hardest area of the wing to do, is this transition.
Keep walking around in circles here. I forgot what I was going to do here. I think we're going to take a piece of wood. One piece of wood. Let's find something in a rack here. I don't want to use no 4-pound stuff. I want to use.
I kind of need to get
6
some
or
dope
8
on this
pound
wing to
wood.
harden up the surface. Might as well we'll just cut this out of here now. Now I did hollow the outboard side, but I'm not going to hollow these. I'm just going to cut them out. Yep.
6, 6, 4. We're going to do an experiment. It doesn't really matter what pound test the wood is.
Oh, we're going to do the
But what it does matter is that all of our test pieces get cut out of the same piece of wood. Let's see, there's a 7. There's a
the easy
beautiful
way.
piece of wood. Nice straight grain.
When-
7.4 pounds. But it's pretty. It's that kind of wood they sell to the RC guys. It's pretty as all get out, but it's heavier than all get out too. Very straight grain. Sort of a it's a combination of A and B grain wood, so it doesn't bend real easy.
We're going to do our tissue test.
We're going to do a tissue test. We're going to cut all the test pieces out of this one same piece of wood. We talked about it, where we're going to use carbon veil, AA silk span, Jap tissue,
And medium.
and medium silk span.
We got medium over here.
No sense in trying to use any synthetic coverings or anything like that. That doesn't. We already know that stuff's stronger than these 3 things probably combined.
I don't think it's stronger than Jap tissue.
What?
Monocoat.
I'm not talking monocoat. I'm talking polyspan or something like that. You know, that silk polyspan. I'm sure that shit's stronger. I think that's all stronger than any kind of tissue. Silk's one of the strongest fibers there are.
So it keeps the bugs from escaping the spider's web.
You know, you look at one little strand of silk and see how strong that is. That's pretty nasty, pretty tenacious stuff. Let's see here. Let's take a pin. Unreal.
If there's anybody out there that's interested in a Yatsenko electric airplane, get a hold of me on the forum. There'd be one for sale here. Can't remember, does he have the box for it too?
Probably. It got mailed to him, so yeah, I'm sure he does.
Is that a classic or a shark? It's a classic.
It's a classic. It was glow powered and it's been converted to electric.
And the conversion's good because we did it here.
Yeah, it won't fall out of there
No.
after you run it. Carbon.
Jerry liked that airplane.
Yeah, he did.
If it has the case, we'll ship it, but buyer pays shipping. And if it doesn't, you'll have to come get it, or we'll have to meet up some contest somehow. Close enough. I didn't bring my hotspot with me. Should have done that. Let's see if we got any chatters. Let's see, maybe if you just, I wish I could read this stupid phone. Let's try turning this around. Maybe I can read it better that way. Yeah, there we go. It says, maybe if you have a banner printer close, you might be able to use your file and print with a laser printer. Just a thought. I do have a banner printer, vinyl cutter. You can draw with it or whatever. What are we doing? Just making little sticks?
Well, I'm just marking it out right now. Carbon fiber,
They all have to be
Jap
the same
tissue.
length.
It's 3 foot divided into 4.
This is not the same length as that. Almost 10.
Oh, well, I fucked up here. Put it up there. Marked on the wrong line.
Got 8 there.
Should be 9. 9 and 9 is 18. 18 is 36. So
I'm looking at it and going, wait a minute.
no big deal. all they have to do is be cut right.
Yeah, what,
And just gonna cut this like this, cover the whole piece,
right.
and then slice it into 1-inch strips, which is what those are. And then we'll take this and hold down one edge with so much sticking out and put weight on the end of it and see which breaks the first.
Let's see, when they do college bridge experiments, they do it in the drill press with the scale. We could do that, couldn't we?
I don't know how you're talking about.
You take the stick and you block it up, put the scale and
Oh, and put it in the middle of it?
put it in the middle, and then pull down on the handle of the drill press.
Yeah, I guess that would work.
Got my pilot. He's huge. Huge. Da, 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 da. He's looking at you. I'll paint him up.
How did that?
I put your glue back over there.
Square one on there, right?
Let's see if we're. Yep, we still got microphones. We've been on 1 hour now. 9 and 4. This came out pretty good for a quickie. Didn't take long to get that sanded to shape. Okay. I can see because I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm going to be spot putting these cap strips after the covering's on. There's a cap. You don't have, well, nah, I better not.
I sanded all those to exactly the same length. So I guess if you want to control things as best as you can, and we can't get too controlled since it's a wood substrate. As close as we can get to it.
Well, like I say, I think you're going to be surprised to find out. You're not going to be surprised, but people are going to be surprised at what breaks first.
Yeah, there's been a lot of emphasis put on certain things, and it might surprise you.
Of course, could be wrong.
I don't think so, but I mean, the only way, I don't know, the way my thinking is, the only way that you can get any difference is to use a different matrix maybe, but, you know, adhesion matrix and dope. Whether it be epoxy or...
Well, yeah, if you put epoxy on, it'd be stronger.
You put epoxy on all of it. I mean, you have one, just do one of them, you do all of them. I've never seen silk span put on with epoxy before, but I guess there's a first for everything.
If you put silk span on with epoxy, you have fiberglass.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably get doped today, but not covered. And tomorrow it'll get covered, maybe, depending on how much sanding I want to do.
I thought you was gonna do all that stuff last night.
Yeah, well, I get tired at the end of the day. Yesterday I had to paint. I had to wire 2 trucks, paint 2 toolboxes, and a backpack. And they wanted more. I said, you know, I'm only one guy.
Yeah, pretty tough, isn't it?
I wish they wouldn't have found out that I could paint, you know. The more that you...
The more you volunteer for, the more you get.
Yeah. Because painting with that paint, if you look at the hair on my arms, I don't have black hair. But that's paint from yesterday.
Yeah, it's that industrial enamel. Acrylic enamel.
It's urethane.
Pretty nasty shit.
It's 1 coat, no primer, urethane.
Yeah, it builds about 1/4 of an inch at a time on a coat.
I've been using that Harbor Freight gun that I bought, that
That Prana or whatever it's called.
Spectrum, or I don't remember what it's called.
Black Widow, the Black Widow.
That's it, yeah. It's a good gun.
Yeah, I think it's a good gun. You're right in buying it. You know, I mean, Atomize is real good. It was just way, way, way too big for a model airplane. Yeah. You pay, if you want to put out the paint and get a 1 coat finish, you're going to pay in weight. In fact, I think the optimum size for these model airplanes, I mean, if you look at the time it takes you to paint a car, you know, with a full-size gun. Well, if you scale that time down and everything to the time it takes you the same amount of time to paint an airplane, then you got to use smaller gun and put it on lighter. And to get that kind of coverage, I think that the small Harbor Freight guns with the, 4-ounce cup on them, I think they're just a shade big. Just a teeny bit. They can be adjusted fine, but and we use them all the time. But there's a gun that's somewhere in there between those and an airbrush. That's probably really the ultimate size.
That's where we were hoping the Grex would work. Oh, I bought a piece of foam I got a bigger case,
Yeah.
and I bought a piece of foam that's 13 by 18, 2 inches thick, dense foam for shadowing.
Mm-hmm.
$30
Yeah.
for that piece of foam. What a ridiculous price.
Yeah. I tried to buy I was going to make a pad like what you're using on your airplane, and I found one actually was a pad for a leg injury, to elevate your leg, and I cut it up and made a square out of it, but sort of same stuff as what Sparky's little pad is there. But I was trying to buy that stuff, and just to go price just the bare foam cushion for a seat and see what they cost. That crap is expensive as all get out. What do you want?
I had a stick. It was right here.
I haven't moved any of your sanding sticks, so you stuck
It
it somewhere.
wasn't a sanding stick. It was a stick.
I can tell you, I didn't move it. Not me.
I broke one of them curvy things off, and I'm just gonna stick a stick in there and
Yeah.
cut it off, sand it around.
Those are a pain in the butt. They either break the tips off of them when you cut them originally, or they do it later. I've taken an airplane and just added them, cut everything square, and cut a piece of you got 1/16 inch sheeting on there, so I'd use 3/16 wood.
Yeah, but you can always see the line.
And glue it in there and then sand it down flush, and that helps tremendously. But yeah, it's hard to get the line out.
This is most guys wouldn't go to this extreme, but
That's even on the bottom of the wing.
yeah. Hey, how come the bottom doesn't look like the top?
And give it to Jim Lynch, he'll let you know.
So to make Jim Lynch happy, well,
I don't know, is he going to be judging anymore? Is he done judging?
I think he's 78 years old. I think he's probably done. He's a nice guy. Everybody is old.
Yeah, I'm starting to break down.
Guaranteed, when our generation is done, this will be no more.
Probably will be. Hate to say it. I mean, you'll have just a very handful of people. Might look at what happens with RC. I mean, if all these rules and regulations go through, there may be nothing left anyway. These FAA they're calling everything's a drone, whether it's an airplane, it's a drone. If it's a helicopter, it's a drone. A drone's a drone. A free flight plane's a drone. Everything's a drone. And
home of the free, land of the slave.
Personally, I think it's all part of the New World Order that they're trying to force down everybody's throat. One government world. I guess I'm getting political. I probably ought to get off my high horse.
Land of the free, home of the slave.
For the last generation, probably not the last generation. There's a couple, if the kids actually did what their parents did when they were kids, you might have a generation or maybe two with some stragglers that actually knew what it was like to go out and hunt and fish and be free and All your constitutional rights are being taken away slowly and chipping away at them a little bit at a time. Everybody says, we got to make a law for that. There ought to be a law against that. There ought to be a law against that. There ought to be a law against that. But yeah, if you look at it, there probably is. But you got to quit making laws and start teaching people common sense. And
we can't do that.
Because laws don't handle everything. All that is a money grab for the government to make cash out of it. You know, remove cash from your pocket and put it in somebody else's. Normally, somebody doesn't need it in the first damn place.
When John and I were kids, for you younger guys, and I know the older guys will understand this, when we were in school and you screwed up, let the beatings begin.
Yeah, you got a whipping at school, then you got home, your mom gave you a whipping because she didn't work and she didn't have to, so she stayed home all the time. And then wait until your dad gets home.
Yeah.
I can remember getting caught. We were sneaking a cigarette out back of a barn one time. And this kid ratted us out to the lady that owned the barn, that owned the property.
Must be a Democrat.
And she came out there. Now, she's not our relative. She's not our mom or anything. She's just a woman down the road. Well, she grabbed us all up and gave us a whooping. Then she took us home. And her mom said, thank you very much. Then she gave us a whooping. And then it was wait until your dad's home. He gave you a whooping. And a grounding. And I used to be able to walk out my back door and go hunting. I got my BB gun when I was 9 years old. I got a .22 rifle when I was 10. I got a .30 when I was 11. And I had shotguns all around, all over the place that I could use anytime. And I'd just grab my gun up and walk out the back door and go out and go shooting.
And for you people that don't believe that, you used to be able to take your rifle to school.
Yeah, I had a gun rack in my pickup truck, carried my guns around with me everywhere I went. Never knew when somebody wanted to go out target shooting, or, you know, if it was hunting season or groundhog season or whatever, we used to shoot groundhogs for the farmers so that their cattle wouldn't stick their legs in the holes, or their horses. You know, we hunted everything: fox, rabbit, squirrel, whatever you could eat, pheasant. And if we weren't hunting, we were fishing. To take off and ride your mini bike anywhere you wanted to, and the cops never harass you. They just say, well, let me follow you home. You know you're not supposed to be doing that. Now they'll give you a ticket and lock your parents up. It's ridiculous. There's no community, I guess, community policing where, you know, your neighbors would punish you as bad as your mom and dad would. And of course, neighbors talked back then. You know, they didn't. Nowadays, neighbors don't even socialize.
Now you don't even know who your neighbor is.
Yeah, it's sort of scary. Yeah. You know, I moved into this new house here, and I walked around and I tried to introduce myself to all my neighbors and everything, and they just acted scared. I guess I'm a pretty spooky guy.
Well, who is this bum?
But I just wanted to get to know them, you know, and, you know, become neighborly friends. And you watch our house, we watch your house, and vice versa about the kids and the grandkids and all that stuff. And it was like,
don't worry, I ain't moving in with you.
You know, we don't want to be bothered with that. It's a shame. Everybody's afraid of their own shadow.
That's not going to be a
can't believe how strong this piece of metal turned out after I just glued that together with super glue, thin super glue.
Probably hold.
Listen, I'm bending as hard as I can. I can't break it loose. Probably an impact might break it loose, but this was a piece I had to make for my bandsaw. And it adjusts the tracking of the blade. It's a little part that pushes in and out. It's all pot metal cast. I made one out of plate aluminum.
That's gonna look like shit. Oh well.
It came out really nice.
I guess I better knock this down and glue another piece on it so it comes out right.
What you did to the other ones, isn't it?
Yeah, but I did it. I need a piece of 1/8 inch, about 1 inch square. I just use a little piece of stick there.
That's not the best wood in here. Mostly sand.
It didn't feather out far enough back, and what would happen is if I put the tissue on it, it would leave a funky spot.
That's just 70 ounces.
Yeah.
Every little piece you add to it, and every more so the glue than the wood.
In your dreams. Got any medium? Yeah. Okay, let's try this again. Do it the right way instead of try to cheat. Okay. What are we gonna do for lunch today? Want to get something?
I have no idea. About tired of everything. Tired of everything homemade, that's for sure.
Arby's have a drive-through, or can we go in there, or what?
Oh, Arby's got a drive-through. I know Barb's tired of cooking. We got a gift certificate to a really nice steakhouse.
That's closed.
That's probably on the verge of closing. I don't know that they're serving anybody yet. Well, they might be now. But, yeah, a lot of these places are on the verge of going out of business. From
That piece I just glued on there was a sanding stick.
yeah, it was a slot. Stick.
Oh well.
Did you leave the sandpaper on your airplane?
Yeah, I did, but I just peeled it off. Well, let's see. We got anybody? We've been on 86, almost an hour and a half now. My friend once asked if any of the landing gear was on the top of the wing. No. Not unless you're flying upside down. Let's see what that said again so I can... My friend once asked why the landing gear was on top of the wing. It's not. The wing's upside down in the cradle.
Or you made a terrible mistake when you were building the wing.
Now, I've seen plenty of guys put their wingtip weight box on top.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I've even,
Actually put the lead outs out the wrong direction.
I think I've actually done that, but I corrected it. I didn't leave it.
Yeah, I did that too. I've done it before. I built 2 left wing panels or 2 right wing panels. I think we've all been down that road. I haven't built 2 lefts or 2 rights of a fuselage or anything like that yet, but the wings I have for sure.
I've cut 2 lefts or 2 rights before. But it don't take long to catch it. You go, oh crap.
Yeah, sometimes you can correct it, sometimes you can't, you know. Especially with the RC airplane that's got a semi-symmetrical airfoil or something, you know, you're really screwed on that. You got a symmetrical airfoil, it doesn't matter too much.
I think what we're going to do today is, I'll be done here shortly. We'll go to lunch and come back and we'll go out in the garage and start doping. We'll dope them sticks and we're going to do 3 coats on them and then tissue.
Yeah, just like you would build an airplane, 3 coats on the, for a base and put the tissue or whatever on the surface and then 3 coats on top of it, and or maybe 4 coats on top of it, whatever your typical, you know, finish would be, minus the paint. I'm not going to go through and paint all that stuff for
Well,
a
you're going to
test.
have, if that's the case, you're going to have 3 6 coats of dope. 3, then the color, and then 2 to 3 coats of clear on top. So it'd be 6 coats.
I don't know if you do need to take it like it's all the way through the entire finish
Don't
to
matter.
actually get a reading.
More dope, the stronger it's going to be.
It's not about that. It's about strength, but it's about strength from one component to the next, not just overall strength.
My prediction is the carbon's going to fail first.
Yeah, I'd probably go along with that one too.
Everybody,
Probably be the carbon, probably be lightweight silk span, Jap tissue, and medium weight silk span.
no,
In that order.
I say Jap tissue is the last one to bust. It has the highest tensile strength.
I know everybody's got their idea, so we'll find out. We did tests, we'll find out.
Yeah, it's nice to know. That way, when you're building, you know,
It just breaks all the myths, you know. So you know uniformly that, I don't know. To me, carbon veil, all it's good for is filling grain, and it makes the surface little ding resistant. But as far as bending loads and strength like that, I don't think I don't think it puts anything into it. Too short of fibers. But as far as ding proof and stuff like that, I think it adds
you got
quite a
piece of
bit to
180.
that. 180?
Yeah, 220.
Probably.
Just a small piece. I need to grind that down. But I know I'm getting hungry because my stomach is.
Well,
going.
there's sanding blocks with
No, I want to.
100 and something on it.
No, I want to be able to get in there with my fingers.
You're sort of picky, aren't you?
Yeah. Sanding blocks are good except for what I'm doing.
Here's a 100.
Yeah, kind of. Well, we'll see.
Here's a piece of 150.
Yeah. We'll try the 100 and then go to 150. And 100 is just a step of up from 80 grit. Like I say, I'll super fill this tonight at home. Then when I come tomorrow, I'll be ready to go. It was a good call for you to tell me to quit working on that and start working on this, because you're right. It's going to be time to put it together.
Yeah. Do your final sanding. You need to get that thing covered, or at least through the covering stages. The problem is when it gets to this point right here,
It's time.
you don't realize how much more time you got involved in it until you actually get that silk span put on. Because right now, the more time you spend right now, the better off it looks after the silk span goes on it. And that's, if you don't spend the time right now getting everything exactly right, then you got buried mistakes and all sorts of stuff. It takes nothing but extra weight, filler, and stuff to fix it, and some of it can't be fixed.
Are you going to enter the Nats this year?
Yeah, I just haven't sent my stuff in yet. I was sort of waiting for this coronavirus stuff to see what happens with it. But since they came out now, and they just got a post on my phone the other day, says they're going to give you 100% refund if they end up canceling it, and then I'll go ahead and send my money in. And
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on too, because I know how the AMA is.
well, they're going to say whatever, you know, they want as much money as they can make. You know, they're just a business, and they're going to say whatever it takes to get you to do things.
They'd rather we just go away.
Well, I mean, they're making it happen by siding with the real drones. I'm sorry, but I don't like drones, in case you haven't noticed.
No kidding.
I think they're a plague of modeling. I think they're the ruin of modeling as we know it. And when they lump sum classified everything into one thing, everything's a drone, well, then that sealed the deal. And there ain't no dealing with these people. They got their agenda, whether it's Agenda 21 or whatever it is spying on people. It's New World Order, what the tracking everybody, whatever it is.
You can't talk about that kind of stuff on the channel. YouTube's got,
Oh, well.
they'll take my channel down. Oh, well. Rusty said something, and they already sent me a community guidelines strike. Censorship sucks.
There's such a thing as a First Amendment.
Yeah, but they don't have to abide by it because they're a privately owned company.
Yeah, George Soros and all them people getting involved in it. Big money. Follow the money.
Yep. Okay, guys, we're going to end it.
Everywhere.
We're going to go to lunch. We'll be back after lunch. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share, become a member. Hit the join button down there for upcoming special videos to members only. So we'll see you in a bit.